All right, guys, if you could learn this skill where you could just turn open the camera and not worry about how you sound, how you look, how you're perceived by the world, that's a superpower because most people are so concerned with those things, and that's what stops them from really doing this. And that's going to stop you from ever being on YouTube, ever being a speaker, ever really going for what you really want because you're too concerned about you. And if you're too concerned about you, you're never going to ever allow the message to flow right through you because you're blocking it. So if that's one thing that you can learn is just flip open that camera and practice and put it on social media. It's so freeing if you could get to that point. So this is all about just do one take. Just do one take. Don't do 8 takes and be so concerned with how you sound or whatever. I'm telling you, you can use social media to build your confidence. You could use getting on camera to boost your self-image, to finally just be like, I love myself. I accept myself, and I'm going to continue to work on the things that I can change, and I'm going to accept the things that I can't change, and we're just going to ride it out. Become a vessel of this message. So dope. And because if you think about it, a lot of people are holding that message, which, let me back up for a second. We need more leaders. We need more coaches. But if there's too many people in the world who are operating out of ego, a bad ego in the sense that they're stopping this message, they're not allowing this message to flow through them. So evil dominates the world. The devil dominates the world. So, and honestly, I truly believe a lot of people want to speak on camera. You want to tell your story. And if you don't have the confidence, if you don't have the self-esteem and the self-image to get on camera, it's not gonna happen. But the topic that I wanted to talk about today is something that is, all right, I was really just telling my Team Gas Money, my coaching call group, I told everybody, I'm like, stop quoting scripture. That sounds crazy. I know, but stop. Don't be like these people who use the Bible and quote all these scriptures, trying to change people, trying to influence people. Hear me out, because I know you're probably listening to this and you're like, where's he going with this? Or is he saying something off? And I'm not saying something off. It's actually right on. Because when you're just talking to, all right, let me say this. If you want to be a great leader, if you want people to listen to you, if you want to be a person of influence, and you want your people, your family, your friends, or whoever it is, you have to know how to lead. Those people who've never ever heard about the Bible, whatever topic really, especially the Bible. So many people are like, oh, here he goes. He's about to, this guy really brought up scripture right now. You lost him, because you want to know what these people are doing. And you might be one of them, and I hope you're not, but really I want to give you this solid point. So make sure you stay for the video to get this principle. These people are going around and using scripture, acting like it's going to do something. Hear me out, because the words do have power. But all that people are thinking, as soon as you are like, Timothy, blah, 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 or Matthew, blah, 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 or Proverbs, blah, 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 blah. All that people are doing, they're just looking at you. They're looking at the person that's saying it. They're not even hearing the words, because those words are void, because it's so distracting. They're looking at you and all of your holes. They're saying, does this guy live it? Does this woman live it? What do they want from me? They're just they're missing the entire message, and they're only focusing on you. So the who 100% matters. I remember when I was a kid, And man, this is gonna ruffle some feathers, but hey, whenever the Jehovah Witnesses came around my house, the curtains closed. I mean, silence in the house. Nobody moved because how many times did we open the door for the Jehovah Witnesses? You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like you gotta hear me out. It's far better to live and let witness if you wish to influence people and teach people about God. Oh my gosh. I was telling my people on the team, I was like, do you think that when, Jesus, people in the Bible, do you think when they were teaching, do you think it was scripture back then? It wasn't scripture. They were just talking. They were just teaching. They were just teaching how their experience with God and their knowledge of God to other people. It wasn't scripture. It was just directly coming from how they spoke. It was just daily knowledge. Some of it was scripture, obviously, because they quoted prophecy and all this stuff. But some of the other stuff was just how they talked. But this is what other people are doing. And I'm like, dude, you're just pushing them away. It's so annoying. And you could apply this topic to other topics. Like I'm just talking about like God and the Bible because it's so known. It's like, oh, this guy, he's going to be Bible thumping right now. Ain't nobody want to hear that. Last week last 6 months ago, I remember seeing you at the club or like doing drugs or doing this or doing that. And so it's the who that absolutely matters. It's far better to live and let witness. Don't say nothing. You don't even have to tell, I see this on Instagram. I think this is why I think I've been seeing it a lot. And I'm like, I'm just going to make a video. I see it on Instagram. I'm like, you're really not doing anything. Anybody who's never heard of the Bible or don't know like that language, they're all like, dude, this guy's weirdo. So what did you do? You just push them away. It's far better to just live your life and let God see or let people see God through your own life. Like the Bible talks about a tree must have fruits. If you're a believer in God, your life should exemplify that you're a believer in God. Like, do you serve a God that's like a God that's not going to take care of you, who's always negative and riddled with self-doubt, worry, anxiety, and is poor, financially poor? All those things, we serve a prosperous God in all ways, every single way. So it's like you don't have to share those scriptures. Just show people the way you live, and they're going to be like, dang, like you have all that. And I'm not just talking about material things. I'm talking about you have humility, you have compassion, you have drive, you have what else? Like boldness, you're fearless. These are all inner attributes. These are like what do they call it? Virtues. You're a virtuous person, and then on the outside, you got a Lambo, you got a house, you got businesses, you help people. Those are outside fruits as well. So you're like, yo, tell me, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You haven't said one scripture, but you know the scripture, but you ain't saying one scripture. You haven't said one scripture because you're a walking representation of the scripture. That's the gem right there. Be a representation of what you're about. You shouldn't have to preach the Bible. You only use words if necessary. You don't use words, try not to talk so much. So I'm really teaching not even something about the Bible. It's more about leadership. It's about influence, how to change people. Just say it the way that you would want to say it. Like I said, the scripture wasn't scripture back when it was written. They were just talking. They were just delivering it how they delivered it. And they were getting at people how their personality was. There's certain people in the Bible that had different demeanors. their own personality shine through. You know what I'm saying? So what's your personality? Just let your life be like that. That's the dopest thing, because you're not going to change anybody. And I'm talking about, there is that first batch of people who've never heard about God, who are new to the topic that you're trying to teach. That first group of people, they don't need to hear it. They don't need to hear it like that. They don't need you to open up the Bible. They're not going to understand. They want to see your fruits. They want to see it in your life. They need to see it first. That's the biggest thing. You need to make people see the change in you, in your business, in your life, how many people you've impacted. And that's actually evident in the Bible. All right, like, hear me out. I'm going to give you a little story. All right. So, there's a story in the Bible where when Jesus was first picking out his disciples, Peter, he was a fisherman. And after Jesus was doing his sermon, his teaching, he told Peter, let's go out into the sea. Let's push your boat out and drop your nets. And Peter's like, hey, like, the fish are all dried up. There's no fish out there. Like, just don't waste your time. He drops the nets. He pulls the nets up, and literally they pull up so many fish, the boat starts tipping. Peter changed his mind on who he thought God was. He was like, or who he thought Jesus was. He was like, oh my God, like, I'm ready to ride with you. He needed to see it. That's what I'm trying to say, is stop quoting scripture. Like, nobody cares about that. Hear me. Like, don't hear me wrong on that. Nobody cares about that, especially in the beginning. The people who are really about it, yeah, they care about that. They love that. They understand that. But the first batch of people, they don't want to hear all that. Make them see it. Just like everybody else who was great, just like Jesus did. I show transformations on my Instagram so people see it. I'm like, yeah, like, and I tell you, you're going to have to wake up at this hour. You're going to have to hit macros. You're going to have to be disciplined, and you're going to get this great body. Or how about I just take 1 second and I'm like, bam, here's a transformation, before, after. Or all the stories in the Bible, literally, you open up the gospel. What is it? You tell me. All right, go grab a Bible and go look at it. It's miracle, miracle, testimony, miracle, 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 miracle. What is that? It's not talking. That's about the action. It's about the result. So what results do you have in your life? How are you showing it? Like, just stop. Like, people are crazy. I'm like, until you can be like undeniable and really represent it correctly in your own way, and show that God, you have this experience and this representation, and where it's just like beaming off of you, that's when you're going to really start influencing people.